Hi and welcome. In this first video, we're going to see how to include ViewBinding in our project and how to use it in an activity. Okay, so let's go to the code. And to start to use ViewBinding in our project, the first thing we need to do is include it in our build.gradle file. So we go to the build.gradle file and into the Android brackets, we can put it on the bottom. Here, just we need to include ViewBinding as you see it. Oh, no capital case. ViewBinding. We put open brackets and we just enable it. Okay. So this should be enough to start to use ViewBinding in our project. Now we just sync now. Just ignore, if you see this one, the player just suggestion, etc. For this course, it's not needed, just ignore it at the moment, okay? So now what we need to do is just go to the main activity, okay? So we're gonna start to use ViewBinding. For start to use ViewBinding, the first thing we need to do is to include it inside of our set content view, okay? So here on the set content view, if we just look inside of the activity, we can see how it accepts our layout resource and also accept view. We can actually see accept view and layout parameters, etc. But we're gonna use this one, the set view. Let's go back, etc. So the first thing we need to do is the following one. Here in Kotlin, we can start. There is different implementation. You can use the whatever it fits for you. I want to show you one which is it fits for me, which is the following one. So we create a private, let init var. Here we included the word binding. Okay, and now after we include the word binding, we need to see one thing. Okay, if we open the resources and layout, we're gonna see here in this specific layout, which is the same we're gonna use here in the main activity, in the main activity, which is activity main. ViewBinding, when we actually include it, when we actually start to include it, from the build.gradle file, he creates for us, for each layout resource, he creates a binding class, which is the following one. You see, it starts to activity main. So the thing what we need to do is just call activity main and with the word binding. Okay, just to leave it more clear, let's create another layout resource. So just to be clear that specific point. Okay, so we can include now another layout resource. Let's create a fragment, a resource for a fragment main. Okay, so now we have a fragment main, and so if we go here, instead of activity main binding, we can actually call fragment main binding, which is exactly the same name with the word binding in the end. But because we are actually in activity, let's use the activity main binding. Now, after create the activity main binding, we need to inflate the activity main binding. So we create binding equals, and then we put activity main binding, and we can see we have three different methods. One is bind, another is inflate, which we just can include a layout inflator, and then we have this one, which is you can include inflator, parent view group, and attach to the parent. Okay, this is we're gonna use for the fragments, but the one we're gonna use for the activities is gonna be this inflate. So now we have the inflate, and we can include the layout inflator. This layout inflator is coming straight away from the activity. So as long as you extend from now a compact activity or activity, this layout inflator is gonna be there. Just you write layout inflator, and it's gonna be there. So now, after we create this binding, then here inside we just include this one. But binding itself, it is not the layout, it is the class main binding. So we can see it like here. So you see, it's the activity main binding. But we don't want the activity main binding. We want to the root of this one, of the layout. So in this case, we use the root. Now, this one is the view. It's a constant layout. Why is a constant layout? It's simple. It's a constant, this root is a constant layout because the activity main the root, the main view, is a constant layout. What happens if we change this one to, for example, a linear layout? Let's do it. Linear layout. So now it's a linear layout. So if we back to the activity and now we press Command or Control in Windows, we can see now this one is a linear layout. Okay. So as you can see, you don't need to build it again. It's automatic update. Let's go back to the activity. Let's roll back. Use the constant layout. We don't want in this case, use linear layout, etc. Okay. So now we have this, and we have the view totally inflated. We can run it, press play, and we just need to wait until the emulator is going up. So why I create this private let init variable? The reason I use it is because in a normal project, you normally will you're gonna bind something there. So that's why I put it outside. If you don't need it, if you just need to create it in Inflate, then you can actually just include the inside of onCreate, and that's it. Okay. So now if you can see, okay, the layout is inflated. It works perfectly as before. If we go here to the main activity, you can see it actually the text hello world is going inside. Okay. How are we gonna call? How are we gonna call to the text activity inside? So to the text activity, sorry, text view. Here, if we include an ID, we can put text view demo. Okay. So now we have an ID in the text view demo. What has happened is this binding actually includes binding. If we click, we can see text view demo. This text view demo is exactly the same name. If we press Command or Control in Windows and we click here, we can see text view demo. All right. So now this one we can actually put the text and hello. Sorry, text view demo. Hello, text view demo. That's it. Nothing else. So now we stop it. We just run it again, and it will actually run. So let's see it, how it is going, and we can see actually we get the view binding with the text view demo, and we add the text hello text view demo. Okay, and this is what you need to know to start to use view binding and include view binding into your activities. Okay, in the next video we're gonna see how to use it in a fragment.